Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, welcome. My name is Chris. Today's video is a tag video. It's all about flexing. Listen, if you don't know what to flex means, don't worry, I've got you. I was in the same boat last year, but I have a teenager who tells me all of the terms so I can keep up to date. But flexing means to brag, bragging rights, to show off. And today's video is about perfumes that a fragrance house can say, yeah, we did that. We made that perfume. That was our creation. This was not easy. And there are some big name houses that you will not see because I could not narrow down to a single flex, but I think I did around 10. Before I get started, I would love it, and I think everybody else would too, if you shared what you thought some fragrance house flexes were in the comments below. And I am just going to grab and go. Let's see. I think I'm going to start off with, because this first bottle I pulled is a perfume from one of my favorite fragrance houses. This is a niche brand that is synonymous with quality. And I'm talking about the brand Micallef. I have so many perfumes in that collection. Do you know which one I'm going to choose? But I think the one flex, the one standout, or a fragrance that certainly went viral, that really put them in the spotlight, and this perfume got tons and tons of attention for a reason, and I still love it to this day. It will always be in my collection, and that is, you guessed it, Ylang In Gold. This to me is what I call a floral gourmand. So it has floral elements, but it also has gourmand elements, and together they are so beautiful. So one of the main florals in here is, you're right, it's ylang, so ylang, but it also is combined with coconut, there's vanilla, and together it all comes together to smell almost like a banana, or it has a banana-esque or a banana pudding vibe. It is so delicious, but it doesn't get sickly sweet. It doesn't get overly gourmand because it has some balancing components. There are some fruity notes, some citruses, there's lychee, peach, some other fruits, and there's a little bit of oak moss, sandalwood in the base. This is such a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. I have said it before, if I were going to a destination wedding, if I was a guest, this one would be one that I would wear. This would also be in the running if I was going to get married. This is a perfect bridal scent, particularly if you get married when it's warm or somewhere tropical. A gorgeous staple, and I've been saying this for a long, long time. I have been wearing something similar to this for probably 15, 20 years. There is a perfume by Chopard, and it's called Cashmere. They share a lot of similarities. Once I got this one and I wore them side by side, Ylang In Gold always won out, but Cashmere is a great alternative. It's a little bit more peachy. It has a little bit more of a vintagey vibe because that peachy is really overly ripe. To me, it smells like there's a little bit of brown sugar in there, and it's a little bit more ambery, but definitely if you love this perfume and it's absolutely out of your price range, then Cashmere is a great option. Okay, so the next one I am pulling is from the line Eccentric Molecules, and the fragrance flex from that house to me has got to be the OG, Molecule 01. I have 4 from the line, and can you believe I do not own Molecule 01? It is ISO E Super. To me, ISO E Super is kind of like the superhero of aroma chemicals. And again, it has some woody nuances, it has some musky nuances, and a little bit of ambery undertones. It's a signature scent. You can wear it layered. I know so many people who have that as a signature scent. My dermatologist is one of them. I won't be showing that one. I will be showing my favorite version of one. I haven't tried them all, but my favorite version is this one right here. It's Molecule 01 with Patchouli. Oh my goodness, this smells so good. I just came back from Houston, and this is all my mom was wearing when I was down there. I gave her a bottle, and she just smelled amazing. The last time I was down there, she was wearing Molecule 04, another bottle I gave her, but 01, the OG, is their fragrance flex. This one is not a harsh patchouli. This is one of the easiest, so it's ISO E Super and a little bit of patchouli, and this patchouli is so easy to take. There's nothing earthy about it. It's very clean, it's very green, it's very fresh. This is a fresh patchouli, one of the freshest patchoulis. It is gorgeous, and it's light wearing to the point where some people might go anosmic to it, just like all aroma chemicals, but I could easily smell this on my mother when she was wearing it at least 5 or 6 hours. Molecule 04 seems to last a little bit longer, or at least I can smell it longer, but absolutely stunning, love it, and definitely 01 is a flex for the house. Okay, the next one, you know, it would be fun is I'm gonna tell you the house I pulled, and as I'm talking, you can guess which perfume I chose. So the next one is from Bond Number 9. This one was pretty easy for me. I have a lot of Bond Number 9 fragrances. This is up there at the top as far as my favorite. I don't know if it's my favorite. It certainly is my favorite during the spring, summer, and you know, the warmer months. I have some other in the collection that I love to wear when it's colder. This is a fragrance that I think is their flex. This went viral, and I talked to a sales associate and she said it was one of their best sellers of all time, and I absolutely love it. It is Greenwich Village. How many of you got this right? This is just this is happiness. This is a fun, happy, uplifting. I think it's very feminine, but anybody can wear it. It just smells very girly. It smells very youthful. You've got some lychee, some fruits, some citruses. There's some delicate florals, a little bit of peony. This actually smells pink to me. This is a pink fragrance. There's peony. There's a little bit of water lily. So the florals are just so nice and bright and light. There is a little bit of sweetness from, I want to say it's caramel, but it has a light sweetness, and it has this airiness. And so a lot of people think it smells similar to Baccarat 540. I think there are very, very differences. I think they're very, very different, even though I can see why people say that. This to me is a little bit more citrusy, and it's not as sweet. You know, it has some fresher notes. So you have to like a little bit of a clean twist on Baccarat, a little bit of a floral twist, and definitely, I'm almost certain, has oak moss in here. So that's pretty strong, but all those notes kind of keep that caramel note in check, or the caramel accord in check. It's just, oh, it's so beautiful. Love to wear it. I feel young and youthful and happy and girly and feminine when I wear it. A definite flex, in my opinion. So the next one I pulled is from the line The Harmonist. I like so many in this line, and I have several on my wish list, but I really do think one is the flex for them, at least in my opinion. It is one of my most complimented perfumes. It didn't make my most complimented fragrances for the first half of the year, the video I just did last week, because I tend to wear this in the colder months. We'll see. I'm going to pull it out again, wear it a lot more in the next, 3 or 4 months. We'll see how it does at the end of the year for my end of the year compliment video. I am keeping tallies, by the way. But this perfume is so stunning. It's so gorgeous. It has so much depth. It's so complex, and it is just a masterpiece in its creation. I'll have anything that smells like it, and it is Hypnotizing Fire. So, oh my gosh, this is ambery. It's floral. It has, some freshness, some vegetal freshness. Don't let that scare you. It has a little bit of myrrh. So it's not smoky, but it has a little bit of an incensey flair. Definitely has a patchouli, but the patchouli is such a beautiful, dark, deep patchouli that does not go too earthy, and it is offset by this beautiful sweetness. There is like a vanillic sweetness in the dry down. So the dry down is all about this beautiful wood, amber, vanilla with some of the other notes in the background. To me, it kind of smells like a sangria. Like if you made a sangria, swapped out a lot of the fruits with pimento, so this has pimento in it, and rose, and you ground it all, like you ground your rose and your pimento up and you put it in like the base of a sangria, added some beautiful woods in the dry down and a vanilla. It would smell just like this. Very long lasting, very strong. One of my favorites in my collection. My second favorite is Yin Transformation, the Parfum, not the Eau de Parfum, which is pretty. My preferred is the Parfum, but this one eked out Yin Transformation for the flex. All right, one of my favorite niche houses is a house that's not going to be for everyone, but I absolutely love this house, and they have some amazing creations. It is by the house of EBK, there's your hint. And this one, in my opinion, is the flex because it was the perfume that really put this fragrance on the map. It is one of the prettiest vanillas I've ever smelled. There's your big hint. And it is Ruby and Vanilla Intense. Oh my gosh, I'm just stunned every time I smell this. The inspiration was an opera house in, I want to say, Paris. And to me, the perfume smells like this beautiful red bottle that just looks like a gemstone. So the star of the show is obviously vanilla, but it's got this beautiful, deep mandarin accord, so it's not as sour, it's not as citrusy, it has a depth to it. It has some citruses, but they're dark, they're a little bit spicy. There is an almond accord, there is a velvet accord, this has cashmeran, and the wood is sandalwood or gaiac wood. It's one of those, but a beautiful smooth wood, absolutely stunning, has really good performance. It's not a monster like some of them are. I would say this is strong. I have no problem smelling this all day. The only negative is that this house is not for everybody because you cannot purchase them by your standard fashion. They do not have a brick and mortar store. They started off by selling their perfumes in very, very exclusive hotels in Europe, and they just took off from there. So I will list the instructions if you're interested in inquiring about the perfumes. I'm not affiliated at all, but there are other influencers also that have their own perfume store that I know carry this. I will list them down below if you're interested in a sample, but absolutely stunning. And definitely, in my opinion, I think it's their Flex because it was their OG. All right, the next one, my next Flex is by the House of Kajal. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I had 5 at one time. I have 4 perfumes by them. This was pretty easy for me to pick. This is just a stunning perfume. It's one of my longest lasting perfumes. It's one of my most complimented perfumes. It's very unisex. Anybody can wear this and it's gorgeous. It is a dense, syrupy, fruity perfume with rose, jasmine, and some spices. So it is Lamar. Their bottles are just absolutely beautiful. And this is just a beautiful perfume. I think it's my favorite pineapple fragrance. It does not smell like your standard pineapple. This is very dark. It's very juicy. It's almost like a grilled. It's like dripping with juices. It definitely has these beautiful florals. Jasmine and rose are the florals that I definitely get the most. And it has some nice spices. I want to say coriander. It gets more ambery in the dry down. It gets more woody in the dry down and just lasts forever and ever. And something about it is incredibly appealing to those around me. And I just feel like $1,000,000 when I wear it. So in my opinion, it's the Flex. The next house is from the House of Maison Francis Kurkdjian. Is it any surprise what I'm going to choose? Of course not. There was nothing else I could choose. I'm still team Baccarat 540, the Extrait, and the OG. Listen, I know people who aren't fans of the OG and actually really, really enjoy the Extrait. This one is a little bit darker. It has like an almondy facet. It's a little bit more woody. This one is sweeter. It's more airy. It's more light. I love them both. I tend to wear this one. This one I wear all year round, but this one is, the Extrait is better in the warmer months. I mean, I'm not going to go into great detail because I think everybody's heard of these and or Deuce, but the ultimate Flex from one of my favorite houses. So the next one is from the house Comme des Garçons. And in, I want to say it's 2000 or early 2000s, they launched something called like the Project Parfums, where they created these lines centered around a common topic. And in 2002 or early 2000s, they created Series 3, which were perfumes created around the common spiritual teachings of the world. So you have Catholicism, Islam, you have Buddhism, there is Orthodox Christianity and Hinduism. And so to me, when I think of Comme des Garçons, one of the first perfumes I think of is the perfume that, one of the perfumes they're most famous for is one of the fragrances from that line, and this is called Avignon. And each perfume was named after a city that was instrumental in that part of spirituality. And since Avignon is a city in France which was very, very big in the Catholic movement in 1400s, that is the name of this perfume, and this is supposed to represent Catholicism. And I can tell you, this smells exactly like Catholic incense. It really is just, you know, frankincense and myrrh. It's very woody. It's not overly smoky. It smells like you go into a big cathedral, an old cathedral. Here in the city of St. Louis, we have one of the most beautiful cathedrals in the world, in my opinion. It has the largest indoor display of mosaic art. It is amazing. And it smells like that church because this church has been around forever. And it is just, when you walk in, you smell the incense that has been burned over the years, the decades, and it is almost, the wood is almost imbued in it. So you smell incense and you smell a beautiful dark wood, and I absolutely love it. And for that reason, I definitely think Avignon is the OG, is the flex for Comme des Garçons. Okay, the last one is from a fragrance house called Tower Parfums, and I haven't spoken about this perfume in probably over a year. There are so many fun things that go along with being a content creator. You get to try all sorts of new stuff all the time, or it's fun for me. But then the flip side of that is when you're trying things, you're trying new things all the time, you sometimes forget about the beauties and even the masterpieces in your collection. And this next one is, I have hundreds of perfumes, and this is one of the very few fragrances that I would call a masterpiece in my collection, and it is L'air du Desert Marane. Now, this is a beautiful, I mean, this is the fragrance that sent me down the niche rabbit hole. This was in 2014, and I had smelled niche perfumes. They weren't what they are today, and they weren't as popular or easy to get as they are today. And I think I had discovered a few L'Artisan in my collection, but when I smelled this, it just blew me away. And it opened up my eyes as to how perfumes can really be forms of art. And I definitely think L'air is a form of art. It is not going to be for everybody, but this is one of the prettiest ambers I have ever smelled. Now you have to wait till the dry down to get to that amber, and the opening can be a little harsh, but boy, is this a beautiful fragrance. Definitely the flex for this line. And the point of view is basically you are in the Moroccan desert. It's at night, the sun's going down or it's already gone down, and you are surrounded by, you know, a bunch of spice markets. So it's dry, it's hot, it's dry, hot, and you smell these beautiful spices in the air. And that is what this is all about, with a beautiful deep amber that would definitely be wafting in the air, maybe perfume oils that people are wearing who are at the spice market. So, you know, you've got this, it's a very, very dry perfume. It is one of the driest perfumes. It's bone dry. And the spices in here are not baking spices. They're not going to be for everybody. These are spice rack spices. This has coriander, and it has my perfume note nemesis, cumin. I really do not like that note. Thankfully, it's not that strong. It's apparent only in the beginning, and then thankfully it fades, and then you get, you know, this beautiful amber. But it is pretty spicy. It's pretty pungent. It's pretty spicy. There's almost a little bit of a lime in here, but beautiful woods in the dry down. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance, and I definitely recommend, if you are an amber lover, getting a sample and experiencing this. Again, you have to get through that little bit of a harsh, you know, opening, but once you get to the dry down, it is a stunning, stunning amber. And the last one is from the house. I decided to do a runners-up from Yves Saint Laurent. I'm going to pick one, and there are so many perfumes that could have been the flex. There are so many beautiful fragrances from Yves Saint Laurent. Now, my favorite perfume is Baby Cat. I've made no secret about my love for that perfume, but I don't know if it's the flex. I definitely think it could be a flex, but I'm thinking more long-term. Now, it could be Opium, but Opium is just, I think it is a great original creation, and many people are going to consider that a masterpiece. I have great memories associated with Opium. You know, my teachers and my aunts were wearing that back in the day, and it's just too much perfume for me. It's too vintagey. And I'm going to say that the flex for Yves Saint Laurent is Black Opium right here. Now, this is not the original. This is the Parfum, the only Black Opium I can wear. Now listen, I'm from St. Louis, and I know everybody, there are a lot of people out there in really big cities that say, everywhere smells like Baccarat 540. Not here, not here. What I smell is Coco Mademoiselle and Black Opium right here. I mean, it is like clockwork. BR 540 is just starting to come around. People are just starting to, you know, discover it. In fact, I have a coworker, and her daughter sent me a text and said, Miss Chris, have you ever heard of this perfume called Baccarat 540? And I was like, yeah, I've heard that one. So surprisingly, so many people still haven't heard of it. Well, I guess it's not surprisingly. It's an expensive niche perfume, and people aren't always looking for expensive niche perfumes. But I think Black Opium is the Flex, and I was talking to as a sales associate, and she told me that it is their best seller. It is definitely their best seller. And I can wear this one in the colder months. I don't like the florals, like the syrupy florals in the original. Those syrupy florals are really toned down in here. They're still there. So if you really hate those, you're probably not gonna like even the Parfum. But this has 3 different types of vanilla. The vanilla is really amped up. You have to get through some of those florals first. But the dry down has a really, really pretty vanilla, and it's one that every once in a blue moon I like to reach for, and it just hits the spot when I reach for it. So that is it, my Flex perfumes. Thank you so much to the beautiful Sharita. And again, if this is your first day ever on YouTube and you've never heard of Sharita, she is such an amazing content creator, a big star, and I know you will enjoy her content. I will link her channel down below. Thanks again for everybody for stopping by. Thanks to everybody who always gives me a thumbs up. If you got something positive about this content and you enjoyed it, I would love a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, I'd love it if you would subscribe to my channel. It really does help me out. And if you haven't done it already, let us all know down below what your perfume flexes are for some of the houses that you enjoy. And with that, I'll see you on the next one.